Elias Blake here, just demoing how to connect to AWS Redshift from a local client. In this example, I'm going to show how I created my cluster here, and I'm going to connect to it from SQLWorkbench. I hit the Launch Cluster button. This created this cluster here. And if you look at the cluster properties, you will see that there's a list of security settings for connecting through the firewall on the network, a list of the port, the database, user, and there's connection strings for JDBC as well as ODBC. If we go back up here to the VPC security group, this is what sets your firewall rules to connect to the database from the outside. This is the default group within the larger EC2 management console. If I pull up the details at the bottom, you'll see the inbound network rule that was created. Pull this up a little bit more. Scroll down. And you can see there's a TCP rule. There we go. Now, going back to Redshift and the JDBC connection, I used SQLWorkbench and also downloaded Java from Oracle in order to install SQLWorkbench to connect that way. Going into SQLWorkbench, you go to File and Connect Window, and here you can see my active connection and the JDBC connect string with all the details for the port and the user, etc. It's also worth noting that I had to download a driver for Redshift and create that driver. It's here on my local machine. And also the ODBC connection, I use Tableau desktop. Here you can see I've connected to the data source as well. And I pulled in some tables as if I was going to run some analytics. Here's a little mini ERD and join conditions on the tables. And here I'll show you where you pull in the data connection. So you can connect to a cloud service here. There's Redshift. And there's also plenty of other options for big data, NoSQL, and traditional relational databases. So going back to this Tableau book, I will act as if I'm going to edit my connection, and in doing so you will now see where you put the ODBC connect string details. Just zoom in a little bit, back out, and going back to SQLWorkbench, you will see where I've run a script to load data here. In order to load data from this bucket in the cloud, you have to have an access key through AWS and a secret access key. And you can set up that token through the IAM service in Amazon. If you go to services, you'll see that here. I already have it open. So here you can see where I've set up the keys. I have a user, and the users have access keys. Going back into the SQLWorkbench, that's where these keys become relevant. And when you first create the keys, you will get a file and an option to download them. It's a one-time affair, so you have to save it and keep it in a place on your machine. So in a nutshell, that's connecting to AWS Redshift You can see I've run a query here to give a count of the actual values in the table. And there you have it.